Right. So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Have both feet flat on the floor, about our hips width apart. I mean, I say that it's only because if people are sitting at their computers and they're not sitting cross-legged, it's better that the feet are in a parallel position on the floor. So whether your legs are underneath you or on the floor, just bring your attention to your feet. And then just feel the sensations of the back of the legs on the chair, or your legs in the cross-legged position, and the weight of your hands in your lap. And just allow the weight of your pelvis to just be released into the chair. And align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So just imagine you're lengthening your spine, putting some space in between your vertebrae. And then go to the crown of the head and just relax your scalp, relax the forehead, relax your eyes, the nose and the cheeks, and the area around the mouth. Relax the jaw and the back of the tongue. Relax your temples, your ears, and the back of the head. And just put some length in the back of the neck. And allow your shoulders and your shoulder blades to drop down. And relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Be aware of your breath, the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. Your nostrils, the chest cavity, the belly. And just be aware of any sound in your environment, any potential distractions. So just allowing all those sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then just check in with your mind this evening. Is it the same as it was yesterday evening? Can you think back and remember? And then if there's been a change, that's just proof that your mind is impermanent and that it can change. Things will change. But just be objective about what you see in your mind, allowing the thoughts to arise, to abide, and then just dissolve without following any particular story, without any judgment or opinions. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, with your loved ones, your strangers, ones you don't particularly like. Remembering, due to impermanence, our relationships can be impermanent. They're impermanent. They'll change. Sometimes they'll change greatly. Sometimes they won't. But there's always some kind of a shift. If you have children or grandchildren, you know that each time they grow a different phase of their life, different kind of cognitive or physical development, there'll be a change. And then just remember that regardless of how you're relating to somebody at any particular time, all these people are equal. They all want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have an extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering that we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest. So the cause of why we harm others, and then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion next, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So really, the first part of this practice, where we're thinking about regret and we're taking refuge, we're thinking about having refuge in the Buddha, this is all about it's all about our, what you would call the junior school level of the Lam Room. It's all about ourselves. And then we come to this latter part here where we're developing compassion, and this is where we're thinking about others. So think about people you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it, arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum. Okay. To be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body. Except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sabasidi mebiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta me boa sawasidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa maha samaya saka a hum pe ambhadrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina petita Jida meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mebiata sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajra Mame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Saka A Hum Pe. Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Jida meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mipiyata sawa kama sitame stikam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa maha samaya saka a hum pe ambhadrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mepiyata sawa kama sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Stawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So just like when you walk into a pitch black room and flick on the switch, when the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, just as instantaneously, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Saka A Hum Pe Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mepiyata sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Saka A Hum Pe. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajra bawa maha samaya sata a hum pe ambhadrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Saka A Hum Pe Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Stawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Saka A Hum Pe Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Saka A Hum Pe Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now, there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. So that the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body. Then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and just completely blasts all of the delusions. And this happens all at the same time. And also, at the same time, you're reciting the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ah hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva ah hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Stawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ah hum pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and the final step of the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this, because we have to decide. For anything to change, we have to decide. So we have to determine that we don't want to harm with our body and our speech and our mind again. Maybe just start with, I'd like to try and refrain from harming. So sometimes when we say we don't want to do this ever again, it sets us up to maybe not be able to fulfill that promise to ourselves. So you can just make it easier by saying, I have an aspiration to refrain from harming. And then you can think about something you'd like to work on. And, once you make this aspiration, you have this wish and you make a decision, it sort of sets up some guardrails for you. And you get this idea of guiding your body and your speech and your mind in different directions. It's kind of magical. So imagine Vajrasattva now is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. All right, so let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri for Lamsa Rinpoche's swift return. The Vidya King, the greatest of mantras Lord, the mantra king achieving noble aims, the great Usnisa, marvelous Usnisa, the Lord of space, revealer of all things, the best embodiment of every Buddha, with eyes the joy of every living being, creator manifesting varied forms, great sage deserving praise, deserving worship, a matron born unto the triple family, upholding mantras of the foremost pledge, the greatest bearer of the triple gem, who teaches all three peerless vehicles. All right, everybody. Lots of love. Thank you so much for coming. So lovely to see you all. And thank you for hosting, Cynthia.